Mm. So, the craziest ass fucking conversation on the internet's one that I think is wholesomely retarded, but yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna take part anyways. 100 men versus one gorilla. Sorry, but Harambe's dead. I'm just gonna put it out there. 100 men versus one gorilla. All right, let's take away all the weapons from the men. Okay, take away all the weapons from the men. Evolutionally speaking, human beings are the wolves of the primate family. Why do you think we get along so well with wolves? We are the persistence hunters. We are the hunters. Let's be clear about that. Yes, some chimpanzees engage in hunting. Yes, some other primates engage in hunting. Not a single primate outside of the human species, outside of the Homo species, the Homo genus, we'll put it that way. Outside of the Homo genus, not a single primate hunts large animals. Not a single fucking one. Not a single one. Humans are the only creatures on the planet to hunt elephants effectively. Human beings are the only creatures on the planet to directly hunt megafauna. Directly. Sure, wolves do, cats do, big cats, they try to hunt megafauna, but they are not as effective in that realm as human beings have been. Most of that has to do with weaponry. Okay, yes, human beings need weapons. We need tools in order to affect our lives. But we also have a tool that is natural to our bodies. Strategy. A large brain. That's a lot of fat up there. It means a lot of energy that you can burn in one way or another, whether that's in thought process or that's in physical process. Believe it or not, you actually burn a lot of the fat in your brain when you work out. And that's one of the reasons why it feels so good, is because of the stress hormone cortisol. Funny enough, is your body stressing the fuck out and saying, I can't do this shit without a little bit of extra help. So, buddy up here, you're going to have to give some. Unfortunately, that hurts your brain. So, in order for your body to compensate, it releases stress hormones and endorphins. In order to make it so it's not so taxing to your body. Because this is how we have been persistence hunters. Both in strategy and in physical capability. Now let's look at the gorilla. Gorilla's much stronger than a human being. Are they natural predators? Absolutely not. In fact, they are natural herbivores. They try not to kill. In fact, they actually make an active effort to not kill. Chimpanzees, on the other hand, no, that's not the case. But gorillas? Funny enough, gorillas try not to kill humans. Actually, actively try. And you can see it in a lot of different situational cases where humans and gorillas have had unfortunate interactions. The gorilla feels challenged, the gorilla feels threatened, the gorilla attacks. The human being that we are natural predators, funny enough we are, are more capable of surviving an attack by a gorilla than another gorilla is of surviving an attack by a gorilla. Let that sink in for a second. Because we are natural predators, we are more predisposed to deadly injury, which means our bodies and our brains are geared towards surviving those kinds of injuries. This is why you can get shot with a gun and your brain doesn't shut down. But if a gorilla gets shot with a gun in the ass, suddenly the world stops fucking spinning. And it panics. This is a reality you have to think about when it comes down to the difference between gorillas and humans. Humans are natural predators. We are made specifically, mentally geared, evolved towards predation. Yes, we are omnivorous. We can eat plants. We can eat fungi, insects. But we are natural predators. Our bodies yearn for meat. And when you think that's not the case, I'm going to ask you to do this. Go on a vegan diet for about, a year. Whatever. Watch how your body wastes away to damn near nothing. And then one day while you're sitting there just sicker than a dog, I want you to literally walk right past a juicy steak sitting there frying on a grill. And you watch how your body and your brain responds before you can even think to stop. Watch how quickly that shit fucking turns around on your ass. You will not be able to stop until you are sitting there going, ow, that's fucking hot. Because your brain won't let you. This is a reality of being a predator. This is why dogs will try to snatch a steak off the top of a fucking grill. Because they are naturally a predator and they want to eat that meat more than they want to eat anything else. It's ingrained in their DNA, their actual physical and their chemical makeup needs for meat. It's the same thing with us humans. We actually do need meat. We need hemoglobin. We need hemostatic. We need protein. And we need magnesium and iron. Both of these things are found in more profusion. All of these things are found in more profusion and more easily digestible in red meats, funny enough. Humans are built specifically for hunting bigger animals. It is literally this is our evolution. So when you says 100 men versus one gorilla, I think you're trying to actually beat up on a gorilla. Just for funs and shits and gigglies. Because that gorilla don't stand a fucking chance. So let's put it into perspective of the gorilla feels threatened 100%. Okay? It knows it's being predated upon. Humans in this scenario are hungry. And there is nothing else to eat. So one way or another, one or the other is going to survive. And there's no options outside of it. That gorilla is dead inside of 5 minutes. Whereas the humans that had to go after him went and took the initial attack. They probably got a few broken bones. Might have been concussed. Hell, might have been bit a few times. But in the grand scheme of shit, the gorilla's dead. Those humans are going to sit there and freaking heal up after a couple of months. Humans 1, gorilla 0. Plain and simply put, we are the most effective, not efficient, most effective predators on this planet. When in the grand scheme of things and all things to be considered, we're the most effective predators on this planet. Cats come up there pretty close. Dogs come up there pretty close. Ants come up there pretty close. Dragonflies, almost neck and neck. But the reality of it is, dragonflies are more efficient. Humans are more effective. Because unlike a dragonfly, we don't have to kill things that are smaller than us. In fact, a lot of the time, humans kill things that are much, much bigger than us. And not necessarily with a gun. We use physics, our knowledge, versus their biology. This is how this works. This is why there's a chasm of difference between even an army of gorillas versus an army of humans. We humans are the wolves of the primate family. We thrive in a pack. We hunt effectively as a pack. We unite as a pack and hunt especially well. Just like wolves. But gorillas, they squabble. They squabble in a pack. They don't do well in a close-knit, tight group where they have to fight shoulder to shoulder. They don't do well that way. Funny enough, they think that the gorilla next to them is a greater threat than the fucking human being in front of them. Imagine that. The human being in front of them is less of a threat than the freaking silverback next to him. And that silverback next to him might as well be their brother. Amazing, isn't it? Now, bring this full circle. What if it were 100 human beings versus one chimpanzee? Chimpanzee loses. One chimpanzee versus one human being loses every time. So ask yourselves, why would you want to pit 100 humans against any animal in the animal kingdom and call it a fair fight? Because you're lying to yourselves and you're lying to everybody else by doing so. Let's stop being biologically dishonest with ourselves. The human being is the most effective predator on this planet. For one, we've been known to kill megafauna by the herd. Not just, one at a time, by the herd. Thousands at a time. The most a gorilla's gonna kill is a bug. Quite literally eating termites. They don't even eat fish. They're predominantly herbivores. They can digest fungus. They can digest bugs a little bit. One of those things about chitin, the primate family is really bad at digesting chitin. This is across the board. It's not just gorillas. That's chimpanzees, that's humans, that's macaques, any freaking monkey out there, any ape out there, any primate out there has a hard time digesting chitin. Notice how I said a hard time digesting it, not cannot digest. That's because of one thing. And thing back there. Molars. Every primate has molars. Every one of them. Whether or not we have bicuspids, whether we have or not we have incisors, whether or not we have canines. Every single primate has molars for grinding. This is why we can digest chitin. Sorta. It's also why we're more predisposed to things like colon cancer. Because a lot of the time you can't digest chitin completely. And so your body issues that from you in fecal matter. And at the same time, that can get caught behind and fester and create an infection, which ultimately ends up causing polyp, which ultimately ends up causing a wound, which causes further manipulation of the tissue, which causes mutations, which causes cancer. This is how that progresses. So, when it comes down to it, gorillas are actually more capable of eating mushrooms and bugs than we are. But we are more capable of digesting beef and more predisposed to digesting beef than they are. Because we hunt, they don't. The gorilla versus human thing is a non-starter. And it needs to end. And the reason being ain't what you think. It ain't because, oh, well, you know, human beings are the most powerful creatures on the planet because we're the top apex predators, because we are literally the most numerous predative creature on this planet other than ants, and have the largest brains of any predative creature on this planet versus body mass. Okay. A little bit there, but not quite. More so, disposition. Have you ever seen a gorilla walk down the freaking street holding up a sign that says, God knows whatever, I don't give a shit? They don't. Have you ever seen a gorilla chuck a spear? Neither have I. In my 37 years of life, I've never seen a gorilla chuck a spear. Have you ever seen a gorilla throw an actual punch? Or do they throw forearms? Humans are built for killing. And before you say, oh, well, no, we're not. We're built to be fragile. You said it yourself. Yes, I did. And we are. And yet, we take on bears regularly. We take on mountain lions regularly. We are literally soul bonded with some of the freaking top predators of the planet. Yes, I'm talking about dogs. We are natural persistence predators. More slow twitch muscle fibers per capita than other creatures, which means we have a longer stamina. We also have more fast twitch fibers than certain other creatures. Not gorillas, mind you, but certain other creatures. And this allows us to have explosive power and long reigning stamina. This is why you can work from 9 in the morning till 5 at night and finally be fucking exhausted about 2 in the afternoon. Do you see how long it took to make you tired? To break your fucking focus? That is evidence of your evolution. But Blaine, well, how is it that you think we're that evolved? How is it that I think we're that evolved then? Well, that's how. Fire. How many other creatures use chemistry in order to create fire? Fire, not freaking burning caustic chemicals that they use in their from mixing two in their body. I'm talking about fire. I'm not talking about bombardier beetles here. Literally talking about what creatures out there utilize chemistry to create fire. There is only one on this planet. Every other creature that actually uses fire collects it from a pre-ignited source. Yes, I'm talking about hawks. Yes, I'm talking about buzzards. Yes, I'm talking about eagles. They utilize fire from a pre-existing ignited source. Humans are the only ones who actively ignite fires utilizing either chemistry or physics. And that's because it's part of our evolution. Our bodies need to have meat and plants broken down before they even arrive in our mouths, where we can masticate it to the point of being digestible. This is why we came about learning fire. And then fire helped us to make tools. Gorillas don't use fire. And as a result, they actually do have smaller brains because they need more gut than brain in order to digest plants. Because that is the large sum of their intake. Like I said, they can eat bugs, they can eat fungus, but they don't normally. They eat plants normally. Gorillas don't hunt. Chimpanzees do. Chimps hunt, but they hunt animals that are smaller than them, that they can kill with physical force. And they normally hunt as a group to do that. Humans are the only creatures on this planet that hunt as a group to take down animals larger than them. So again, this is all a non-starter situation. One gorilla versus 100 men is a joke. And it's actually one of those fun little exercises that biologists use to see if somebody's got mental competence or not. Wonder if you knew that. Reality is, a human being with a toothpick is more of a threat than a gorilla with an AK-47. Just going to put it out there. A human being with a toothpick is more of a threat than a gorilla with an AK-47. Because that gorilla is going to be scared of the noise. The human being is going to figure out how to use that toothpick as a weapon. The gorilla doesn't understand the concept of a weapon. This is where it all comes back to. Well, 100 men versus a gorilla, no weapons involved. Still, a human being is more capable of killing that gorilla than that gorilla is mentally capable of killing that human. Gorillas will actively try not to kill something. They don't have it in them. We humans are the wolves of our genus. Of all of Primus, human beings are the wolves. We are the hunters. We are the killers. Even chimps are less predisposed to lethality than we humans are. So when it comes down to it, if you're going to talk about humans versus, at least have the wherewithal to bank predator versus predator instead of predator versus, what is that? It's not even a prey item. Because we are mentally geared towards not eating anything with arms and hands. Believe it or don't. Mentally geared towards it. Doesn't mean we don't. Doesn't mean we can't. It means that we are mentally geared towards not doing it. Let me put it this way. Have you ever had to kill a monkey to eat it? Or have you had to kill a monkey to do pest control so that you could eat the plants that the monkey was eating? Food for thought. Has the monkey ever tried to kill you to eat you? Or, like is so often the case, was the monkey abused, pushed into a corner, and scared for its life, and simply fighting to protect itself? Like all creatures will. I'll put it this way, a chicken will fight to protect itself. And I know that for well. I got chickens. Ask yourself, is it disingenuous to pit an herbivore with a calm disposition against an omnivore with an aggressive disposition. Because last time I checked, yeah, that's pretty fucked up. Not only would it never happen, but it could never happen. A gorilla would see 100 men and say, shit, I'm fucking prey. I'm running. And this is the reason why we, you and I, because I know there's not a fucking gorilla on the other side of the screen, you and I are predators. Whether or not you're some weirdo sexual deviant, that's beside the point. That's not even part of this conversation. I'm talking about natural method of edification. Not education, edification. Natural order of eating. What do you eat that a gorilla wouldn't touch? What can you do that a gorilla can't or won't? Have you ever seen a gorilla strike a match? Have you ever seen a gorilla use a sharp edge other than their teeth? Food for thought. Humans, we are not some slouch of an animal. We are actually the apex predators of this planet. The top tier, most deadly predators of this planet. And as a species, we've forgotten that. So while you are out there today in the interwebs and the world and whatnot, I want you to sit back and I want you to say to yourself, look at all these retards. They're squabbling over something that's a non-starter. And I want you to remember your heritage and your roots going back 2 million years. You are a predator. Stop being the prey animal. Anyways, thank you all for coming to my TED Talk. It's been Yo Guardsman on. Motherfuckers, I'm out.